Anyway, I'm really, really glad for the opportunity to share with you. Most of my life I've been disempowered. And I've done it to myself. But like most humans, I didn't believe I did it to myself. And I got a wake-up call. This year, really, is when I really started beginning to feel the power of who I am, which I hope some of you got in the meditation this morning. That's the most empowering meditation I've ever heard. And I invite you, if it touched you at all, to make sure you get a copy of it so you can listen to it more than once. Maybe you might even want to do it another time with the overhead, with the pictures, which we might be able to make work the next time. From me. Ask. Ask. But it's been a journey to recover from my victimhood. Because when you do not stand in your power, the only place you can stand is as a victim. And earlier this year, when I was in an especially trying time in my life, when I was being challenged greatly, I had a dream just before I woke up. And in the dream, there was this massive man. And he was helping me. And as I do every morning, I start every morning with meditation between 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning. Earlier, if I woke up today at 4. And was in the meditation room about 20 minutes to 5. But I said, who was that guy? He towered over me. A little voice inside said, that's you. That's your higher self. And something happened when I realized that. Something inside. Because that being is powerful. That being is infinite and eternal. That's me. It's an amazing thing to see your higher self. And I asked for the meaning of the word power. And these are the words that came to me. Prehistoric oneness with everything remembered and realized. We think we're only this person in a body, living. We were born at some time and we're going to die sometime. That's not who we are. That is the experience that we have gifted ourselves with. And it is a gift. No matter how much we bitch and complain and moan about things that happen in our life, everything that we experience is a gift. Everything. Prehistoric oneness with everything. That's my identity. And if you can accept it, that's your identity too. Before you had an ego, before you had a body, before you had a single experience in what we call life, you existed and you were one with everything. That's the soup from which we all flow. That's the essence from which we all came. And it's a very, very, very powerful thing when you realize who you really are. You realize your own absolute infinity, your absolute eternalness. You were never born, and you can never die. But you can experience birth and death again and again and again as your soul journeys through what we call time, what we call space. Anyway, what happened is the intellectual knowledge that I was eternal and infinite started landing, and I started experiencing it. And it encountered a change of mind. Next slide. It's the one that says it's all about, yes, that one. That's the one. How many of you are familiar with A Course in Miracles? Most of you, probably. Gary Renard and Marianne Williamson are probably two of the most foremost teachers of A Course in Miracles, and both have written books about it. This is a quotation from Gary Renard. "The world is not being done to you. The world is being done by you. The world is not coming at you. It is coming from you. When you go to a position of being at cause, instead of being at effect, then you are no longer a victim." And the quotation there from the Colorado Gazette just says who Gary Renard is, in case you didn't know. I didn't know, but I found that quote, and I loved that quote, and it resonated with me. Because I began to see that everything that happened in my life was a gift that I gave myself. And I disempowered myself again and again and again and again throughout my life, as I'm sure many or all of you have done. I disempowered myself by believing that it didn't come from me. It happened to me. I was the victim of my circumstances. I was the victim of my bad feelings that I tried to get away from. I was the victim, not realizing that I had created the entire thing from my infinite self and in my infinite wisdom. I had created everything that happened, and the gift that I gave myself was the gift of contrast. The Course in Miracles goes on to sort of poke fun at the ego and say we've got to get away from the ego. That's one area that I disagree with the Course in Miracles. Anything that you try to get away from, that you created, you're in a losing battle. And at some point, you created the experience of an ego, the experience of a human body, the experience of living in flesh and blood and time and space, and you did it for a very important reason that you forgot, as we all did. It's not about, oh man, what's wrong with me? How could I have forgotten? We all forgot. That's the game that we came into. And we are such powerful creators. I want you to get this. We are such powerful creators that we created what is absolutely impossible. We created the experience of being separate from God. And God is everywhere. You can't fall off the path and land outside, because there is no outside of God. It doesn't exist. But we have felt it, we have experienced it, we have thought about it, we have wrestled with it, we have gone to the extremes trying to get away from the part of ourself that we created that we didn't like, because we didn't like contrast. We wanted only light and not darkness. We wanted only good and not bad. We wanted only positive and not negative. And we were afraid to embrace the whole thing and see the world as God sees it, because God can't get outside of it either. God's infinite heart embraces it all. The illusion and the reality. They are all reality because they are the reality of our experience. We feel it. We know it intimately. We live it day in and day out. It is our life. And you can't get away from your own life. And until you start seeing yourself as the infinite creator of everything in your life, next slide,